What's going on YouTube? Sundeep M3 back again with another video. Hope you guys are enjoying the uploads. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. Got the G80 M3 right here behind me, and in today's video we're gonna go with what spec you must order when picking this car. Similarly to how I've done it a few times in my past videos, we're gonna break this down into a top 5 reasons why, and I'll include a few bonus features as well, so stay tuned. Feel free to comment down below for what you guys think about those as well. The number one feature that you must spec or find when you're shopping for these cars are the laser lights. Just look at them. The blue design, the whole sill hexagonal look with the BMW laser etched in right there as well. So these are a must-have for this car for 2 reasons. One, you guys can see just the aesthetic of the whole car. It just gives it more aggressive, dominant when it coming down the road, especially for those guys who've done the CSL yellow ones. I'm still toying around with that if I want to do it or not, but I do like the white look on it since it matches the rest of the car. But going back, the second reason is the functionality. So they are fully adaptive. You can get them coded to the Euro spec to do more advanced features as well, but they're enough for me right now. And you just got to get them. Basically everyone on the forums will roast you if you have the non-lasers. They call it the peasant spec. But you know, I just wanted them for my own reasons, and it really makes the car. The second thing I would definitely option is the carbon fiber roof. It's a little hard to see right now with the sun glare and being a black car, but it's definitely really nice. Nice, sleek, smooth finish. Just gives it that nice, awesome look. It's a no-cost option. You can get the moonroof for the same price, so there's no differences in that, but you definitely need the carbon roof. And for resale value as well, everyone looks for this option. Nobody really wants the moonroof, so if you're gonna get the moonroof, you pretty much have to expect that you're keeping the car for a while, or when it comes down to selling, you're gonna take a hit on that. Another benefit for us taller guys with the carbon roof is when you come into the interior here, you can see that there's more clearance for headroom, so you get about an inch or so. So definitely you don't have to mess around with your seat too much. It just gives it a nice clean look. Since we have that carbon fiber roof, that brings us to our third option, which is the carbon interior. Definitely a must-have. I believe it's about $950. So what you get with that is the steering wheel, 2 side pieces, as well as the center. You get all this center console right here, as well as this around the shifter, all nicely done. And you get this side piece over by the passenger. So what I ended up doing is getting the AliExpress carbon piece to go right here as well to give it that whole theme. Some people like it gloss black because it kind of matches with the xDrive, but I prefer to have the carbon since it's also an OEM feature that BMW sells for like $400, I believe, for the whole piece, but I don't know, it's not really worth that money. But anyway, just the carbon is a really nice finish. BMW does offer some other ones as well, but pretty much everyone decides to go with this carbon feature. It just ties in really smoothly with the car, gives it that sporty look as well. Had a similar one in my F80 and previous G80, so I definitely wanted to stick to that. The third option that I really recommend is the executive package. So you guys are probably wondering, what is the executive package on these cars, since pretty much for every BMW they've been changing it for the last couple of years. So the first and main thing, as you guys can see, this cutout in the dash, that's for the heads-up display. So with the heads-up display, you can see the miles per hour, directions, any important messages, things like that. So that's one of the more main things why people get it. Another option is you do get the gesture control, which I showed in my previous videos. So you can kind of spin your finger to increase the volume, decrease the volume, do like next track, previous track. Just shortcut keys like that, which come in handy sometimes when you don't really know where the drive controller is, or especially in the newer M3s. Another feature you do get with the executive as well is the power remote trunk. So all you have to do is just go back here, click the button once, the trunk opens right up. And then for closing the trunk, you just go right here, press that, it goes back down. Really nice feature to have when sometimes your hands are full or you just don't want to do it and be lazy. On the 2021 model like mine, this was the only year they offered laser lights as part of the executive package. So if you didn't have that package, you couldn't get the laser lights. But now they're a separate $1,000 option, and then they do reduce the price of the executive package to counter it. And I know a couple people in the transitions from 2021 to 2022, when their client advisors didn't make the change in the build sheet, they were left without laser lights for their model when it came out in 2022. So that was a big disappointment. I know a couple people on the forums and groups didn't take delivery of their car because that feature, I mean, if you didn't get them, then they would end up costing you upwards of $5-10 grand, depending if you order it from BMW. Nowadays, you can get it a little less on crashed cars from Copart and things like that on eBay and online. The fifth and final feature that I was really looking for when I was shopping around for this car was the Parking Assist Plus package. So if you're wondering what that gets you, if you press the P right there, you can see on the screen, it does go into the rear view, front view cameras, as well as the 360 cam. Not only the 360 cam, but you get automatic parallel parking features and reverse features as well. I do use it time to time to experiment around when I'm in tight spaces in Philly or when I'm just lazy, you know. But it's definitely nice to have, and I definitely would like that feature. As I mentioned earlier, there are 2 bonus features that I didn't opt for on this car because I felt, in my opinion, they weren't required, but I know a lot of you guys that are purchasing G80s probably do want, so I figured I'd cover those as well. So the first thing is, this car is not an xDrive, it's a rear-wheel drive. I felt that coming from my previous xDrive to this rear-wheel drive, I didn't notice much of a difference. Granted, with the all-season Continentals and just my driving style and not having to drive in the snow or anything, I figured I didn't need it. And I'm also not chasing track times in 0 to 60, 60 to 130s like all these guys on YouTube and the groups. It doesn't really matter to me, like if it hooks that serious, as long as it's fast enough and still gets solid grip, I'm cool with that. But if you are buying one and can afford it, I would definitely recommend the xDrive. It's nice to have and definitely keeps the resale value higher than the rear wheel drives, which is one of the reasons why I got this car for cheaper than the xDrive. The second bonus feature has to do with the seats. So I do have the Comfort Sport seats, as you guys can see here, with the added carbon headrest on both of them, just to spruce it up a little bit. And also dailying the car with the Comfort seats is a lot easier to get in and out without the bolsters, and for passengers as well, you don't have to worry about them rubbing or ruining the seats. So I figured this time around I'd be okay with it. Although I am still looking for bucket seats. If I find them for a reasonable price, I will get them for this car and do a swap and keep you guys posted with a future video on that, hopefully. I just do like the look and aesthetics and how it keeps you in the seat, but by no means these seats are no slouch and they still look really great and awesome. So that's up for debate if you want the carbon buckets. There's thousands of videos on YouTube, hundreds of posts on the forums you guys can go through about what's to love, what's not to love. I'm not going to get into all that, but I will say that in the end, I am happy with these seats and there's no issues with them. So let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think? Would you have changed any of the top 5 reasons I mentioned with this car with something else? I know there are going to be a couple of you who are say xDrive is a must and the carbon buckets are a must, which I do agree with, and I ended up using those 2 options when I spec'd this car on my previous one, but things have changed since then, so I'm not really worried about that, and I had other options that I'd rather have over those at this time. Feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. Sandeep M3 out.